There are many, 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 many ways to legitimately brand your company. And when you start to think about branding through a digital format, you're not Coca-Cola, you're not some company with billboards and back in the day with television commercials and all that stuff. You're digital footprint branded, right? And what can you do to do that? Well, you can have a proper SEO effort with a company that does high-end code base, over 100 points of schema, and tons of content. Yeah, we do that. Listen, we talked about this in another podcast earlier. It's foolish not to pay for some services just because you've gotten messed around before. I, all day long, every day, talk to you guys that have been screwed by other web companies. I would agree that 9 out of 10 at least, if not 19 out of 20, are bad or at least poor quality. And none of the rest of those are better than us, right? Now, and listen, we say that more and more, and we still laugh a little bit, but I'm starting not to laugh at all when I say it because it's just the fact of the matter.
Boom.
Hey there, guys. It's Nolan Walker and Jason, Director of Operations here for Plumbing Webmasters.
Howdy.
This is a combo deal today. The topic category is branded SEO for plumbers in 2020. So branded SEO for plumbers in 2020, and part of this has a true client story in it.
Right.
So this guy signed up. We have a plumber that called, and he kind of, as a matter of fact, said, well, we're just going to change the name of our company. And, well, it's going to be no big deal. We'll just redirect it. And and by the way, he had 66 Google reviews. Yeah, so he's got, and the website was 4 years old.
Oh, good God.
So, and I said, well.
Why did he want to change the name?
They had something happen, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but he felt like he had some egg on his face on something and had a couple of jobs where he gotten some bad reviews, but he still had a 4.5. He had like a series of bad reviews, but he still had a 4.5 overall ranking because he had 66 Google reviews. So I'm like, okay, that's a really bad idea. And he said, well, we want to change it because of that. I said, he said, well, we think this might have, caused a problem or besmirched the company. I'm like, okay, that is going to go away before your ability to rise in rankings.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just keep getting reviews, and you'll bury the bad ones.
So we're going to discuss through this video and podcast more about branding, but I want to talk about this little situation a little bit because he's like, well, somebody told us that it would be okay. I was like, look, man, salespeople that want to sell you will tell you anything and that it'll be okay, because if you start getting into what's really going on here, it's not what you want to hear. Right. So you're throwing money at somebody and saying you want to start up, and they're going to tell you whatever you. I said, well, they said it would be no problem. I said, well, I'm one of the owners of the company. I've done this for 15 years. By God, it's a problem.
Unless you are legally forced to change your company name, you should not.
I mean, we did it. We did it a long time ago on the .com, not the company name. We changed the .com.
Right.
And to this day, it causes us some optimization issues.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, by the way, this is speaking from experience.
Speaking from experience on our own
Everything
stuff.
we say is, but that, just to point it out.
But so when I would argue, and you can correct me if you think something's different, but I would argue that when a redirect's done from one .com to the other, the general consensus is, oh, that just changes it. It's just, that's the one, and now we're that one, and we told them, so everything's okay. That's not how I see it. How we've seen it over the years is it could be a 8-year-old .com, and when you do a redirect, it applies about 1 year's worth of juice.
Link juice.
Yeah. After that 1 year is over, you could essentially assume that it took you a whole year to gain a year, and then you're 2 years old. Yeah. So maybe you have at 12 months in a 2-year-old feeling website.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, going into your GMB and saying, oh, we're wholesale changing.
Well,
This is still the same company, but we want all these reviews. They're very,
so
I don't want to say suspicious, but they're suspicious.
They are.
That's it. If you do that, they're
Yeah.
like, there's a good chance that you will have to start over with a new name, and I'll lose all those good reviews.
Well, he was going to change his .com and his company name all at the same time. So you go into Google and say, hey, Google, I know you trust us under this, but we don't really care about anything, and we're going to change our name and our .com all at the same time, okay?
Well, the hilarious thing about that is that he's thinking the company's been dispersed, there's been these bad reviews, so he's going to change a company name. So there's one of two things going to happen. Number one, Google is going to refuse to acknowledge that you're carrying that over, and you're going to start over with no reviews. So there's of EAT, expertise,
Authority and
trust.
Yeah.
You got none of the T.
Where does that? So there's a new
Or
acronym.
they're going to pull them all over, and you're still going to have those bad reviews are going to follow you.
Right.
So
Yeah.
either of these.
They had something
Either of
else,
these are
but
bad.
it was other stuff. They had this stuff going on, but all the partners, there's like 2 or 3 guys, and they're all still there. And I'm like, guys, y'all can get over whatever the heck this is. I said, I'm not giving you legal advice, but is there legal stuff going on? They're like, no. I said, y'all making money? They're like, yeah. I said, y'all want to keep making money? They're like, yeah.
Well, there you
I
go.
said, okay, so if you want to keep making money, all this other stuff will be forgotten about. It'll be much, much less in a month, and everybody will have forgotten in a year, and you still have your high rankings
Right.
that are currently, they're coming on for higher rankings, but they were already getting some benefit.
Yeah.
So the whole business ran off of this branded brand. I said, y'all are about to completely obliterate your brand. So if a plumber wants to understand branding and SEO, I said, look, we need to take a minute and like educate you. So we spent like an hour on the phone, and I was on speaker. I said, you guys are known by Google under this name. The website's 4 or 5 years old. Your GMB account has 66 reviews on it. It's got a 4.5 star. Do you get business off of this currently? They said, yes. I said, would you like to lose it? They said, no. I said, are you aware that if you start up new, you'll lose a percentage of it? I said, it doesn't mean you won't get anything. You'll get, brandnew.com can get some traction fairly quickly, but not going to be as strong as this.
Yeah, definitely not as strong as how many reviews did you say?
66.
66 reviews, 4-year-old domain.
So I told this
Yeah.
guy, they were fairly aggressive on reviews for the size of the market. I said, would you like it to take 2 years to regain where you are now to the level that you are now?
Right.
It's like, no. I said, okay, so let's not do this then, you know. Yeah, there was another whole part, I don't even go into it. Somebody had come into the market with the same name. They were going to differentiate themselves from that other company. So this guy had been in business a while, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, that's a whole different issue, but don't let somebody come in and get a name the same as yours. And I would argue that you should even fight that a little more than you used to would have.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in your market with the same exact name, used to it wasn't a big deal for a contractor, but nowadays it's going to dilute your brand with Google.
Right.
They're not going to. They're going to get confused and like who. And a lot of plumbers have really similar names like Rooter this and Rooter that. And
Rooter this, A1, Flow. What do we see? Something American, something Flow, A1, AAA.
yeah,
Like sometimes one of my people come back and say, so and so plumbing called, and it's like, which of the 4? Because we've got 4.
I like the one where they use the area code on the area now. I like that now. That's a trend now on
Oh, I
business
haven't seen
names.
that.
Yeah, so the major area code, like it'd be like in Dallas, it'd be 214 plumbing or something like that.
Huh.
Or, you know, they use the area code a lot. I like adding the word pride to it, to the local town. So it's like patriotic without, you know.
Yeah.
There's some ways you can get like a little different name, but the name does need to be, that's a good category to general branding. So the name needs to be not a general phrase. So a bad name would be Plumbing Repair of Houston.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like someone back in the day in old school SEO thought, hey, I'm going to be really smart, and back then for it worked, you know. But nowadays the Google local looks at a whole company and a whole brand. They can't distinguish your name from general chatter or common word phrases. You're going to have a harder time optimizing nowadays, right?
If you had gotten in the door with it 10
Maybe,
years ago,
yeah.
you could be established as that general phrase was synonymous with your business, but that's
Right.
harder to do now. They don't like seeing that anymore. In fact, we've been seeing a trend on Google
Yeah.
on GMB accounts where people's GMB accounts are getting delisted if their company name is the general phrase.
Right.
Doesn't happen every time.
Wouldn't that be great if that happened
Yes,
in our
it would.
industry? Oh my God.
There's a story behind that we can't really
Yeah,
talk about
yeah, we
without
can't-
getting into something. But
We can't talk about it.
yeah, we've actually seen some GMB counts getting suspended
Hmm.
because Google thinks you're trying to game the system by faking your business name into the keyword phrase.
Dang it, that'd
so,
be good.
Yeah. So I mean that kind of stuff happens. I actually know a guy. He started a barber shop here in town, and he named his shop Local Barber Fort Worth because he thought that was the
Right.
best SEO phrase. And I'm like, dude, that's a terrible name.
Terrible name.
It's hard to say. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It sounds.
But he
stupid.
wanted to get the Google click
But
for it.
he wanted to get the keyword in there.
I talked to a guy. Gosh, I hope he doesn't listen. But he was out of. I think he was out of San Antonio. It was like Plumbing Company San Antonio or something, and he was just crazy. I'm sorry. He'll never watch this because he's too old, but he'd done this like way back in the day. He's like, well, I don't know. I've been around the block with these guys. It's like everybody puts my name up on their page, and I've called a turn. So anytime anyone put in Plumbing Company San Antonio,
Oh, wait a minute! I remember this. He would try to sue them.
he would try to sue them. It's like, so that's part of the problem. So goes back to branding. It's like, okay, if you have a real brand, you're not a general phrase.
Right.
You can't protect the general phrase. It's like, it's not.
If it's the phrase that people would use to describe any company that does what you do,
right.
Like if we called ourselves the SEO company,
Yeah.
we would quickly be. If we had gotten that 10 years ago, we'd be sitting on a pile of cash.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, you can't. You've got to have a separate name. So let's
Yeah.
talk about aspects of branding. So they were about to unwittingly obliterate their brand.
Right.
And really what needed to happen was more things to bolster the brand.
Right.
So more work in their Google My Business account. I don't know that I'll go off on reviews here, but we might in a minute. Reviews and usage of Righteous Reviews platform, which
see all of our other podcasts to talk about.
which we currently have exclusive use to, and proper integration of reviews back to pictures and all this branded authority stuff on the site, and a name that is distinctively different.
Right.
This guy was actually going to give up a name because someone else literally, I looked on after he talked about it, I went online and looked at when it was registered. It was registered this year. Just like
the new one moving
the
into
company
his
moving in, that was another big reason. He had to cut. He had several reasons, and I'm like, but you've done this for almost 5 years, and they've been in business like 6 months. And
You should fight it at that point.
their attitude was, well, somebody came in and we had this little thing, so we'll just go anyway. And I'm like, no, man, that's very bad.
No.
So
Your brand is definitely worth fighting for if you have the ability to do so.
yeah. It's worth fighting for. It's not only worth fighting for, it's worth you thinking about it in this respect. Industry people in SEO now call it EAT or EAT, which stands for
Expertise, authority, and trust.
so expertise. Break down that if you don't mind. As you told
like I
me.
did before?
Yeah.
Expertise is, it's what you say you do. Basically, you're a plumber, and this is the stuff.
So
I
that'd
do.
be like content, maybe.
Yeah. Well, expertise and authority kind of bridges between each other with content. Expertise can be just kind of a declaration. Authority deep content shows that you know what you're talking about and what you're doing.
Right.
And then trust is things like reputation. Obviously, these are kind of fluid barriers. These aren't absolute things for each of those letters, but they kind of flow that way. And the reviews and stuff like that is the trust. That's how you build it.
So
But that also comes from things like tenure, which is not as big of a deal, but it still helps. And they would have obliterated the T in EAT if they had changed their name.
right, completely obliterated that part of it.
Yeah, it would have started from.
I think the acronym came up really because it used to, we just called it like branding and stuff.
Right.
It's really the industry of digital marketing agencies understanding what Google's looking for better.
Right.
So the industry as a whole is narrowing down on this aspect. What it means to you guys as a plumber looking to beat people and do better online is that you not only now think about design and content and code base in your GMB account, but you think about your brand and how it interrelates with all of that, and you focus down on things like changes to the website and reviews and work in your GMB account.
Right.
Maybe even social posts and things like that, stuff that might hit your website or things through Google from other sources, so direct traffic from Facebook or Instagram or stuff like that can be really critically important signals to Google that you're the authority on the subject matter in your area.
Right.
Righteous Reviews is a software program that some of the principals here have in a different corporation, And it is software that integrates from the ground level code base of service pages and city pages, which allows it to be tagged in a geocode reference when you're sitting in front of the client's home.
Right.
So you're on your phone, I'm at Bob and Susie's house. We just did a main yard line leak repair, and you go to your main yard line page because it was intricately written by the webmasters, and then you go to your suburb page because you have city pages because we cared to put them in there, and then it gets tagged a picture of the yard dug up and repaired, and a check-in code, which is a red pin on the map on the suburb city page, an individual page for the city, also goes on your main map. Picture goes up, and you put in their cell phone and email, and it shoots off direct links to your Google, Facebook, and Yelp reviews.
Right.
That little compilation of things tying your Google reviews back to your website with custom content on the actual city and service pages covered all of expertise, authority, and trust at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time you get everything.
Everything just swipes and goes through.
Right.
If somebody did that and worked on their GMB account, your ability to brand has expanded exponentially over your competition.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that you're a plumbing company that does, I don't know, 1,000 repairs a year, which is pretty reasonable for a lot of you guys, right?
Yeah.
So
might be low for some.
1,000 repairs. It's easy math for me,
Yeah.
man. It's 1,000 repairs a year.
Zeros, easy math.
I was gonna do 100 per month. I'm like, wait a minute, make it easier. So 1,000 repairs, and then you affect a city page and a service page on a geo-pinned check-in, which is a schema code that Google can read called check-in, and it goes within 2 blocks of where you were, not the actual address. Drops a red pin on 2 places on your website. Drops the photo if you took one of whatever repair it was. It could be whole house repiping. It could be a sump pump replacement. It could be a bathroom clog. And so you grab
whatever it is. Yeah.
You grab your page, you grab your city, it's going to tag the check-in to both, it's going to put the picture of it to both, or just one, is it both?
Both. It puts all the information in
and then
both
it's
places.
going to email and text the client direct links. Even if the client doesn't leave a review, let's assume, and I hate to say probably pretty fair estimate, that 80% of them don't leave you a review.
Yeah.
But you asked them at the door and you emailed and texted them. Now, because I have people say, well, what do I care? I got 66 reviews and I do great at it. Well, all of a sudden, instead of just, that's only 20% of your reviews, now 80% of everything you do now validates custom content, a custom picture with a caption, a geo check-in.
That is hopefully keyword relevant.
Yeah, and a geo check-in. And now all of a sudden, every time you utilize righteous reviews for reputation management, it affects the website.
Right.
Every
And
single
Google
time.
respects and trusts those geo check-ins. We've tested this.
So it'd be hard to fake this, right?
Yeah, it would be very hard to fake it. And so they
harder
see
to
that
fake it.
data and they go, oh, yeah, that guy says he does sump pump repair, but look at this.
Yeah.
He's got these pictures and he's got these geolocations that fall within his declared service area on his GMB.
As opposed to what, though? They explain to them why, though. Because
Otherwise it's just a page that says, hey, we do sump pump repair.
because 100 other plumbers
Yeah.
in your market have city pages and have service pages.
Right, exactly.
But
And
theirs
so-
are not updated. And let me explain. I feel like I shouldn't keep explaining this, but I'm going to explain it. Theirs have no ability to do the check-ins per service page and per city page, nor put the photo up. Why? Because the software they have for check-in, listen, they don't have check-in software. Less than 1% of them do.
Yeah, very,
But
very
if
few
1% of them have check-in software where they can put up a photo, it's on one stupid gobbledygook page because they don't have a masterfully built website by the webmasters who gave a crap to start with SEO from ground up and give you separate city and service pages. You say, well, Nolan, I don't care. I don't like lots of words anyway in my site. Right? That's stuff that people tell me.
That would
I don't like
make me
those
cry
sites.
if it didn't make me
I don't
laugh,
like those
'cause
sites.
we hear
Okay,
that.
so if you don't have a page of content that's separate for the city or separate for the service, like reverse osmosis water softener or in main yard line like slab leak detection and types of pumps and types of repairs and toilet replacement and all that stuff, tankless and water heater and gas and electric water heaters and all that stuff. If you don't have individual pages, there's nothing to base the click upon. So,
Right. They don't know what to show you for. And by the way, if you've got a competitor in the same area and he has those pages and you don't,
you have no ability to show up, right?
Right.
So the first thing that happens is that people that do this don't have the content. If they do, it's sparse or copied or horrible. And then if they have city pages, it's almost always just copied or jumbled.
Right.
And so they have these horrible pages if they have them. And if they use software, since the company's founders here, that have it, didn't also build reputation management software with a separate corporation, they didn't build the code base into the pages, so they have no ability to update those. And what it means is, if you have somebody that's aggressive next to you that has city and service pages and you're like, Nolan, they're everywhere, and you want to beat them, then you all of a sudden start making changes to your city and service pages.
Right.
And remember, if all this goes into one gobbledygook page, do you think that Google's going to show you for slab leak detection in Springfield, wherever, it's an adjacent city that you had one page for? They're not going to show you.
Because they've probably got a plumber who actually is located there.
Yeah, and all of a
sudden,
sudden,
prefer him, all things being equal.
if you had a city page though, and you had changes to that, and
Right.
you had pictures to that,
Right.
as opposed to other people's city pages with it, and much less not having a city page, you wouldn't show up at all.
Right.
So
And
that,
you go. This takes you from just being content rich, which we already give you, which you start out with when you sign up with us, to being data rich.
Right.
And that's
Pictures,
That's what Google
captions.
lives on, is data.
I would argue that it's more difficult. Not any of y'all should ever game your GMB account. In fact, they're dinging people for it now.
Right.
I didn't want to say it before, but it's not like we're talking about the guy's name. If he ever watched this, he'd know it was about him. But they had gamed their GMB and used to have 150 reviews.
Okay.
And my response to him was, don't ever do that again, and be thankful that you have 66 reviews and a 4.5 star. So you just need to work GMB properly. You're not there to
Wow.
game it. So, but it would be, am I wrong in saying it'd be easier to put up some, I mean, how difficult would it be to falsify a check-in? Not that anybody would ever.
If you had a programmer that knew what they were doing, they could hand code the schema and put it in there.
And put it in there.
But the thing is, if you have none,
Yeah.
and you say, tell this programmer, oh, we heard that I watched this podcast, these two guys said we need all these check-ins.
Help you
Okay. And you add 100 of them to your page at once, Google looks at that and goes, that's not natural.
Yeah, so it's probably best to do, we do a picture with the check-in.
Yeah.
But anyway, nobody does this. I'm just thinking about it. But
Yeah.
no one does this at all.
He has a criminal mind,
Well,
so he generally
I
thinks.
think I've been in business so long, I've been screwed rotten so many times that I do go through the Rolodex of
How will people try to
how
cheat
many
this?
times
Yeah.
will people try to,
Yeah.
The
I
algorithm.
mean, it's technically possible, but it would actually be easier to just do it right.
Yeah. Not to mention you'd get your custom captions and your custom photo.
Yeah,
By the
yeah.
way,
That's the thing. You could go in and try to fake the location data if you had a skilled programmer,
yeah,
which would cost more than Righteous Reviews will cost you, by the way.
yeah.
But getting getting unique photos, captions, and everything else, that's not going to happen. And again, it wouldn't look like a natural pattern.
He didn't tell me that he gamed GMB, by the way. He said, well, why would they have taken me down? I had 150. I said, they probably thought you were up to no good and putting up false reviews. He's like, oh.
Which is like, well, yes.
He never actually said he did.
Yeah.
But he was like, oh. I'm like, okay.
But he didn't deny it.
He didn't
and if he
deny it.
hadn't done it,
No,
he
he
would've
said
been
it in
like,
such a way
I
that-
would have. I didn't do that.
His oh was an admission of guilt. So, I was like, that's really, really bad. And they're actually, he said, well, you mean dinging? What do you mean?
You're lucky that he
I
was
mean,
lucky that
removing
he
your
didn't
damn
delist.
account, removing your account forever.
Yeah, just taking the reviews off, they slap
That's a
on the
cakewalk,
wrist.
yeah.
We had a client once, Plumber, who his GMB account had been suspended, and he kept trying to get us to fix it. And no matter what we did, Google was just like,
I remember
no,
the story.
But
he jacked with them all the time, though, right?
Yeah. Well, he went, because one of the things you can do if you're logged into like your Gmail Google account, you can go onto Maps and you can go to business in the area and you can say suggest edit. And he had on the same Google account that his GMB was tagged to, so he did it in like the stupidest way possible. He had gone through and suggested that done a suggested edit on every plumber in the area, saying that they had closed shop and were no longer in business.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
And Google, it's like the same dude connected to this plumbing company is saying all of these others are out of business, and they had suspended him, and he was screwed.
That was it.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, they took him down.
Well, you should. I'll tie this back to branding.
Don't do that. In other words,
there are many ways to legitimately brand your company. And when you start to think about branding through a digital format, you're not Coca-Cola, you're not some company with billboards and back in the day with television commercials and all that stuff. You're digital footprint branded, right? And what can you do to do that? Well, you can have a proper SEO effort with a company that does high-end code base, over 100 points of schema, and tons of content. Yeah, we do that. Listen, we talked about this in another podcast earlier. It's foolish not to pay for some services just because you've gotten messed around before. I, all day long, every day, talk to you guys that have been screwed by other web companies. I would agree that 9 out of 10 at least, if not 19 out of 20, are bad or at least poor quality. And none of the rest of those are better than us, right? Now, and listen, we say that more and more, and we still laugh a little bit, but I'm starting not to laugh at all when I say it because it's just the fact of the matter.
Boom.
We've done it a long time, and I don't have any issues saying it. That we
I do a mic drop, but these lapel
Do you?
mics
Yeah,
don't
these
don't
don't
look
work.
impressive
It
with
just
a mic.
yeah. But we have a lot of stuff that people don't have. We have integrated software. We have software that y'all don't realize that wraps our content and schema code. That's how we have over 100 points of schema.
Right.
It's intricately done stuff that you get a better grade on. So you start with great standardized best of best practices, design and code and GMB account and citations and SSLs. Somebody asked me the other day, and I guess I'm getting a little salty on it. They're like, but Nolan, do you do mobile? And I'm like, yeah, for like 5 years at least. I was like, there's a baseline stuff, sir, that we don't discuss in necessarily. Oh, well, I was just really tired this week.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sitting here kind of, so I'm holding my tea. And anyway.
One of the questions you guys asked when you interviewed me was, responsive design for mobile. And I'm like, yes, I've been doing it. And this is...
Who was that, John?
John.
Oh.
This is 5.5 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, I've been doing that for 3 years. I've been doing that as long as anybody's been doing.
We've been doing schema code for over 3 years.
Yeah.
And they've only been chattering about it for 12 months.
Yeah, for just about a year ago,
Yeah.
we went to a conference when they were saying...
It was actually 9 months.
This is becoming very important.
Yeah. We need to sign up again before it gets too close to showtime.
I actually looked it up.
Did you?
We'll talk in
Okay.
a minute.
So guys, yeah, I mean, not that we want to explain all this to anybody, but you've got to have all these baseline stuff. And then there's a higher level now. So if you have design and code and citations and SSL certificates and mobile ready, which is called responsiveness, and you're doing more intricate work in GMB, we'll do all that part for you. And then we also now integrate this reputation management, which is beyond reputation. I don't even know what to call it. It is reputation management with the EAT bonus or something.
It's beyond even that. 'Cause I mean, it's like I've said that the way that Righteous Reviews has been set up, it covers so many points of SEO in general.
Right.
Uniqueness, content, rich media with unique pictures, schema,
regular website changes,
updates,
custom photos,
all of that is like we've got this huge gamut of stuff going on in what is for you guys very simple. It's like take picture. I'm here. I just repaired a sump pump.
Yeah.
I'm in this town. go.
And we're not going to say over this, but we're about to do another version of it, and it's going to be off the charts.
Yeah. Oh, we're about to pump it up.
Yeah,
We just pumped it up recently to what this is.
It's already unbelievable.
And we figured out we had some ideas, and we're working on getting it to the next level.
New stuff coming out is not. I've not heard of it on other people's software. Have you?
What we're about to do. I've never heard of anything like it. Yeah.
So anyway, it's already fantastic, and then so that's branded stuff, and then you have your older stuff, which we need to do one on this too. It's like all the stuff I mentioned: design, content, blogging, coding, Google account, and then now the newer stuff with like righteous reviews integration, short code per page, checking in, emailing, texting clients reviews, getting pictures and all that. That takes your reviews to a whole different level.
Right.
And now you guys on your end, if you want to know what you can do, you can work your own social media posts. We're a full digital marketing agency, so we can help with social media ad spend and methodology and ads and all that. But
and like some creative if you need it and stuff like that, like banner.
You guys can get involved in that a little bit and do some postings and other stuff, and you can get interactive and do a little bit into your GMB account, like maybe even more photos or video posts, for example.
Right.
So that would be a really good little thing that's a serious tidbit to help up your brandability with Google if you say did a video post. We actually do some postings for you already because we feel like it's so important on your GMB now, right?
Right.
So, and I don't even ask people. I think the days of you guys blogging is over.
Well, yeah.
We
for years.
For years.
We've done it
not even. We blog. If we do blog, they're over 1,000 words now.
Yeah, we do.
Depending on what level you're at with us,
right.
We do long form. But I'm talking about since we do that, and since it's slightly diminished in a signaling authority, it's not worth it for you to spend your time on it.
Right. Right.
So I still have people going, well, how many blogs you do? I was like, well, we could do a lot of crappy ones or some really nice informative blogs, and we chose to do really nice informative blogs that have a chance not only for optimization but better credibility for the website.
Right.
I don't think Google knows if you do like a really crap blog of 300 to 400 words.
Yeah. Well, they also know based on that what was it, a bit over a year ago, we saw signals that indicated that if you have a ton of blogs on your site that never get read,
yeah,
that it drags down the whole
That's
site.
true. We did see
ranking.
that.
And that's actually why we went.
I forgot what
to less frequent long form blogging that has more of a chance of getting a hit and getting traffic.
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, it's like, well, exactly what do you do? And I said, well, examples of our monthly work are code-based changes as needed as schema updates, design changes, content additions, content changes, blogging, work on your Google GMB account, work within citations, client requested changes, and pays for your software seat for righteous reviews. Right. Those are examples of normal weekly and monthly labor for any client that we perform. And it changes regularly. And he said, but, and I said, well, we used to go right down and we do a blog a week or we do that. And we don't manage it quite like that anymore. We show what we do, but we don't do it like that because it'll change over the course of time.
Yeah, we don't have like a checklist of things that get done each month. We have
in that manner. We have a list of things, whatever's most important to do.
Yeah,
certain amount of hours
and
get appropriate.
And it can change not only based on what's important that month, but stuff gets added to the list all the time.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden we're seeing that Google's wanting something that we haven't been doing because it's new, if you're signed up with us, that gets added to
Remind me,
your stuff.
We need because I know the 2.0 version or whatever version you want to call it, righteous reviews.
Yeah.
We need to retro in everybody.
Yeah.
We need to, because it's really new, and I want everyone to know the upgraded features that are currently. So that's another thing people get.
Right.
As stuff changes and we learn, it gets done. We also redesign the site every so often. It can't just stagnate forever.
Right. Right.
Gosh, branding is important. You guys need to be thinking not only about your marketing as it exists, so for Plumber SEO in 2020, but you need to be thinking about how your brand is supported on a digital platform. And you need to consider that when things are done as a whole, that it affects your business model.
Right.
It's not even a question. I know that business owners disassociate to their own extreme detriment their digital, I don't know, their digital viability, their digital response
From their brand?
from their business.
Oh, from their business.
From their ability to
Which
earn
is
money.
insane, yeah.
So that a plumber will be doing well, overall profits are up, and have absolutely no stinking idea how that occurred.
Right.
And as a result of that, arbitrarily, not provide enough attention towards their SEO or their brandability or their digital footprint.
And there's a tendency, we've seen it, for people to assume that leads come from more traditional avenues,
Right.
like door knocking or
There's
billboards.
an egocentric tendency
Yeah.
of a male business owner.
That I did this, so that's where
I
it came
touched
from.
this with my hand, and therefore
That's
this
where it
provides
came
more. Or I know who Google is, and when I pay them thousands and thousands on PPC, that's where I'm going to spend most of my money.
Right. Right.
Even though organic is still the majority of search.
Yeah, organic is still the majority of search and costs me less.
Because I can't tangibly see it.
Yeah.
But you guys should be thinking about that branded aspect as it affects your business, what it does to you, how it affects you. And when your bank account goes up, you need to be consciously aware of different activities that are going on.
Right.
Like the people who do the digital marketing services, maybe even indirect money towards Facebook or your leads or your reviews. Some of these things are just no-brainers. You need to have reviews, integrated content, and changes and accounts on their website design and code base, and then tagging photos and stuff on jobs. That got to be done, but there are other auxiliary things
Right.
that can affect what you would call your brand and your ability to show up in the search rankings.
Right.
And direct traffic. I don't know, we're doing stuff. I have a hard time with that one myself, by the way.
With which one?
Spending money on like a category like Facebook
Yeah.
and seeing no damn response at all.
Yeah.
But
Because
no,
the response is often delayed.
but knowing that direct traffic from there affects my organic ranking, and I
Right.
know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's true,
Yeah.
but it's damn hard.
And
to spend
sometimes it's still hard to write the check.
it's hard to
Yeah,
spend the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
but you guys don't need to worry about that though. Y'all are young pups yet, whether you like it or not. I don't care how you get your house in order on your map and your reviews and your website and content and code base and all that first. Don't think about anything else. That's what I didn't finish that story earlier. The guy's like, well, what about, was that this one or different one? I'm going crazy, man. The video, was that this one? The guy that wanted to do a video, he kept harping on it. That was
No, that
another-
was the previous one.
Sorry.
We're confused.
Don't get stuck on things off the base. The base needs to be protected and barely expanded.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there was another podcast we're doing, and guy was like, I need to do a video. He has this really horrible
like-
video up.
A video's not a bad idea.
He said, why are you dogging videos? I said, I love videos. He's like, and he
But
kept
you
on.
got to do all your other stuff
I
first.
said, well, get this. I said, look, sir, you're not going, I forget his name. It's like, Bob, you're not going to do the video, and it has no bearing on whether or not you show up in ranking to that extent. The video itself, signal to Google, is minutia. I said, so you need to get people to the website first, which would be to get it redesigned, recoded, recontented. you
all
know.
things in their proper time.
Right. So what you want to get all of this base set up, and then like really focus on that muscle group first. Like you
Don't skip leg day.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
This is
the
this is
digital equivalent of don't skip leg
this
day.
is leg day all the time, right?
Right.
Don't go burn your triceps out, because it's not going to help. You can't walk, right? Right. Anyway, so he's talking about doing videos, but he didn't have a website design. He didn't have code base. He didn't have schema code. He didn't have content. He didn't have a blog. He didn't have righteous reviews.
And he thought
He
a
didn't
video
have
was going to
reviews.
save him.
He didn't
Yeah.
have city pages. He didn't, and I'm like, okay, we got to get all this stuff that's like a step 2 scenario.
Yeah.
So you can do the other outside branded signaling, but if you just did this correctly with GMB and reviews and high-end services like ours and what we set up, you're going to kick the crap out of it.
Right. Right.
To go out and start throwing thousands at paid first or
Paid and video
or
production.
Facebook and
whatever,
video
yeah.
production, no. Those are after you've got more trucks on the road and you're like, I'm stepping it up.
Yeah. Now we're going to amp it up. but
Yeah.
you don't start with that.
You don't start with that. All right, that was interesting enough. A good way to sum it up. I mean, it's worth hearing that.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't know who listened this long. All right,
How long
guys.
is this one? This is a long
This is a
one.
while. I hope you enjoyed
40
it.
minutes.
Don't miss. I gave a tidbit in there. I didn't dwell upon it, but there's some good stuff in there.
Yes.
All right, guys, take it easy. We'll see you.
Take it easy.